Aikwe, Neknamalita, and this is my channel, The Midnight Librarian, and today I'll be doing the January book tag. So the January book tag was created by Jan from Agaton. I will leave her original book tag as well as her channel linked down in the description down below. I feel like I mention her every week, but she's a pretty awesome booktuber and has a pretty cool booktube channel, so highly suggest it. This has 10 questions. Let's go ahead and get into them. Question 1 is, what is the last and first, if you remember, book you read last year? So for the end of 2023, I finished up the year, I believe, with Broken Horses by Brandi Carlile. I talk about this in my December wrap-up. If you want to go listen to that, I'll have that linked as well. But ultimately, this is Brandi Carlile, who is an American musician, kind of like twangy, bluegrassy, in a way, Americana musician. I love her voice. My mom and I were able to see her when she toured here locally, which was really cool. And I've enjoyed her music ever since. It does have some religious aspects to it, but it's not, I don't know, I just enjoy it. I was aware of her memoir when it was published 2 years ago, and I enjoyed it enough. I think I had a couple of critiques on it, but ultimately it was cool to get to know her as a person outside the musician and what inspired her music. And then my first book was My Lovely Wife by Samantha Downing. This one wasn't bad, but basically we are following a husband who he and his wife decide to start killing women as a sort of way to kind of spice up their marriage. But things go awry. He's withholding secrets from her. She's just holding secrets from him, and their kids, particularly their son, starts trying to blackmail him. It's overall interesting. I'm realizing that Samantha Downing, because I read 2 of her books this year, it's entertaining enough as a quick let me just a good in between of it's entertaining enough that I will finish it, but I don't think they're that memorable, honestly, or it doesn't stand out to me that much. So 2, what is your first read this year? So in 2024, the first book was The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. This is something that I had been wanting to do. I had been wanting to reread it during the holiday season of 2023 and held off on it because I thought it would be a really fun idea to go ahead and start and finish this book at the beginning of this year, because it is 2024 is my 33rd year on this earth. 33 is the age that a hobbit is considered an adult. So I thought it'd be really funny to kind of just I'm kind of leaning into that this year, of it being my hobbit year. So it was fun. I really enjoyed it. It's still a 5 out of 5 for me. There is some fatphobic content in there. They really poke fun at a particularly overweight dwarf, but otherwise I really enjoy The Hobbit a lot. I love the adventure that Bilbo goes on, as well as I really enjoy Andy Serkis's narration. So that was a reread, but I loved starting at 2024 off with it. Question 3 is, share 3 of your reading goals this year. So I do have a 2024 goals video. If you want to take a look at that, I will have it linked as well. But ultimately, one of my goals for the channel is to do more vlogs. I have been getting inspiration from Jan. I've been getting inspiration from Alli from Allison Paiges, as well as Kayla from Booksandlala. I want to be able to do more vlogs, and I want to do them better. So I want to be able to do them better. I have to keep doing them. So I'm trying not to shy away from them, but I also am trying to limit myself to less than an hour worth of vlogging. But I'm also trying to get more comfortable with it. I'm still not comfortable with filming in front of people, let alone my fiance and my family. So we'll see how that goes. 2 reading goals that I have for 2024. One is to complete the reading challenges. I have the Buzzwordathon that I would like to be able to complete the books within the month that the challenge is for. So Buzzwordathon, if you haven't heard about this, is the challenge that Kayla from Booksandlala has been doing for the last 4 or 5 years, and basically each month of the year has a buzzword, word or theme to kind of challenge your reading. January's is the 3 Theirs. I'd like to, and technically I completed that with The Hobbit or There and Back Again. In my mind, it needs to be the main title, not the subtitle, and I would like to complete it within the month as opposed to you know, reading something in April going, oh, that works for January. So I could technically do it however I want. However, this is the way I would like to challenge myself this year. But I also have other challenges throughout the year that I would like to do. Read at least one nonfiction a month, which I'm pretty good at anyway, and read one Indigenous author a month. That I was good at for a little bit, but I kind of fell off in 2023, so hopefully I can get back to doing that in 2024. Reading goal that I had was to read more repeat authors. So authors that I've read from before. I'm particularly interested in reading some of the backlist titles of authors that I've really enjoyed. Simon Montgomery is the first one that comes to mind. And then mostly it's to figure out if I do enjoy the writing of other authors. Grady Hendrix, whose work tends to be a hit or a miss for me. Same with Stephen Graham Jones. Authors that I've read like one book from, but would like to, like similar things of I would like to see if I would enjoy more of their work. So like Sarah Gailey and Delilah Dawson. There's obviously more authors that I could say, but those are the ones that come to mind. Sorry, I think I have something in my eye. Question 4. Share 3 of your most anticipated titles. So 2 of them that I can think of right off the bat are part of my 24 of 2024, which we'll also have linked if you want to go check that out. The first is Indian Burial Ground by Nick Medina. This is an Indigenous authored book where we follow a young woman who is ready to live off the reservation and make a life for herself, with herself as well as her boyfriend. But when her boyfriend, something ends up happening and it's deemed a suicide with her boyfriend, and if you knew her boyfriend, nothing adds up, nothing makes sense, and so there's something sinister on the reservation. This one's scheduled to come out April 16th. I've heard of Nick Medina. There's another one that I meant to read in 2023 and haven't, so I'm very curious about this one, and I like the cover. Butcher of the Forest by Premi Mohammed is scheduled to come out February 27th of 2024, and basically this is a novella. I've read Premi Mohammed before for my 23 of 2023, which, I mean, it wasn't bad. It wasn't necessarily Premi's fault. It wasn't the book's fault. I was just kind of impatient, but I enjoyed the writing enough, and this one sounds really interesting about like the spooky forest, and basically anyone who enters never comes out, but at one point our main character ends up saving a couple of children from the forest, and now the tyrants that basically like controls the area has lost his 2 kids within the forest and kind of forces our main character to do her savior thing again and save his kids. So I'm very interested in it, and another cover that's absolutely gorgeous. My third book that I am highly anticipating for this year is A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping by Sangu Mandana. This is scheduled to come out September 10th in 2024. I also hope to have like monthly anticipated releases, so hopefully you'll get more of what I'm anticipating coming up, but this one is, I believe, Sangu Mandana's sophomore book. I absolutely love The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches. It was so much fun and I've been like kind of searching for something similar ever since, so the fact that she is doing another witchy story I'm really excited about. This one is about a witch who has a second chance to get her magical powers and her life back on track. Sierra Swan was once one of the most powerful witches in Britain. Then she resurrected her great aunt Jasmine from the very recently dead, lost all of her magic, befriended a semi-villainous talking fox, and was exiled from her magical guild. Now she, slightly reluctantly and grumpily, helps Aunt Jasmine run an inn in Lancashire, where she deals with quirky guests' shenanigans and tries to keep the talking fox in check, and longs for the magical future she lost. So I'm excited for this one. Question 5 is, which goals did you not reach last year? Technically I completed the Buzzwordathon, but like I said, technically I completed it. No one was there to like really police me. I'm just policing myself, so I feel like I kind of cheated, even though I get that I get it. I've talked about this. But technically I completed that, which I was pretty happy about. I also completed the magical readathon challenge for the year, which I thought was really nice. I think that was the, so I got the Owl Cub for that. I didn't read as many tomes and it's something that I don't really keep track of anymore just because I don't want to push myself, and if I like don't think about it, maybe I'll just like get to them. But I think I only read like 2 tomes, which are books that are over 500 pages, and they were just barely over 500. I don't know, I feel a little disappointed in that. But another one that I did complete to a degree, it's another one that I don't really keep track of anymore, is completing series, and I find that it's just easier if I don't keep track of it or don't put pressure on myself to finish series. But I did finish 7 this year, so that was really exciting. Question 6 is, are there new releases this year you've heard about that you have no desire to read? I'm sure there are. I don't keep track of those. I know that the 3rd Crescent City book is coming out in January. However, like, I would eventually like to read it. However, I haven't read the first one yet, so I'm in no rush. I'm sure there's another Riley Sager, of course, coming out this year, and I really don't care. I'm sure there's like a bunch of books that it's not even like on my radar, because if I don't care about them, then why would I keep track of them? So question 7 is, what are some reading habits you want to change this year, if any? Just reading more Indigenous books, I think, would be helpful, as well as like just more BIPOC authors. I'm usually pretty okay with it, but that's one thing I would like to be more conscientious about, as well as my book buying habits. Already it's kind of gone, like, I've been trying to do this since late in 2023 in terms of not buying nearly as many new releases or new books, because I do have piles and piles of books that I do need to get through here in my physical TBR. But another problem with that is purchasing audiobooks, which is really hard because we're in a really kind of rural area, so my county library, even though they have Libby, don't necessarily always have access to the newest releases, or if they do, it's like a month, like months and months long wait, several month wait. So it's really hard not to just buy audiobooks, but they can be just as expensive as the physical copies. So that's one thing I also have to keep track of. So my book buying habits, I definitely want to adjust slightly. 8, are there any adaptations you're excited about? Not particularly. I don't really know what all is coming out. I'm like not good at paying attention to that kind of stuff. There was only one in 2023, and that was Killers of the Flower Moon, which I was really excited about. But everything else, I'm just kind of like, not really paying attention. 9, favorite bookish memory of the last year. Basically just it's happened like early, almost like a year ago in February of last year. But just finding a little independent bookstore up in Oregon was really fun. And then being able to purchase some of the books that I wasn't able to get to in Oregon like throughout the year was really fun. So there are still a couple books I would like to get that I had seen up there and just haven't yet. Otherwise, not really. And then 10, carryovers from last year you still plan on finishing. There's a couple of them. Dracula by Bram Stoker, I'm pretty sure I've been reading that for the last 2 years that I need to get through. A Deadly Education by Naomi Novik, I started and didn't finish. I also think that Sorrowland, I still need to get through. So there's a couple books that I just like stopped with, like soft DNF with the intention of going back to them and just haven't yet. So yep. But that is the January book tag. If you've done this, please link it down in the comments down below. I'd love to see it. Otherwise, let me know what one of your anticipated titles are for 2024. I'd love to know that as well. If you don't want to answer any of those questions or don't have the spoons to, let's go ahead and put a bat emoji, which is very very Jan. I think there's a bat emoji. If not, like some kind of vampiric emoji, I think that makes sense too. Otherwise, I hope that you are in the mental mindset to enjoy your reading, and I will see you in another video very soon. Chew.